Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on being a wrestling fan. No, man, being a wrestling fan, it's honestly, it's dope. You know, like, I feel like that you become friends. See, here's the thing. You become friends with random people just simply off of the fact that they're a wrestling fan. It is the most craziest thing ever. But no, I remember there's this girl that I went to school with. I think I've mentioned this girl before, but there's this girl that I went to school with. I ain't gonna lie, like, that girl had attitude. Like, she was, I'm trying to think, like, there are characters from, like, the girl from Teen Titans, like, the goth, like, one. I can't think of her name. All right, hold on. Let me look her name up. But literally her, like, Teen Titans. Okay. I should have put like just TV series cast. Robin, Cyborg, Starfire. Nope, not Starfire. Raven. Okay, yeah. She was literally like Raven. She was Mandy from Billy and Mandy that in the Grim Reaper show. What are some other characters? Like, that girl, she was, man, like, just straight attitude. But she was cool, though. That was the thing about her. She was a cool person. She never had an attitude towards me, but she was one of those people where I'm like, I don't want to cross her. But I remember there was one time, me and her, we were talking one night on Facebook, and when she told me she was a wrestling fan, I'm like, I don't care who you got beef with, I got your back, okay? Like, nah, you're one of the cool ones. Nah, you one of the chill ones and stuff. Like, it trips me out till this day. But I think she was saying, though, because it was like her dad is a wrestling fan. So I was like, hey, you know what? That's usually how it starts. You know, you see your family watching it. With me, though, it was like, there were some times, though, where my family, they kind of like they skimmed over it. They wasn't sitting there actually watching it. So when I had gotten into wrestling, it was, and I'll never forget the moment I became a wrestling fan. But no, my family, I think my sister and my dad, they went to a SmackDown event back in 2003, because I think at that time, WrestleMania was, it was like they were performing out here and stuff. It was either 2000 or 2003. I'll have to ask my sister if she still has the ticket. But anyways, so yeah, like they had went, and I remember they gave me like wrestling toys as I was like growing up as a kid and stuff, but I didn't really like know who it was. I think it was, they gave me The Rock action figure. And I was like, I know him from the movies. I wasn't really watching. I knew he was a wrestler, but I didn't watch him and stuff. So I was like, I wish I was watching wrestling at that time, because I felt like wrestling at that time, it was wrestling in like from the 90s to like 2000 and like 4, 5. I feel like, yeah, it was good, you know. So, but anyways, it wasn't until 2007 when I became a wrestling fan. So it was a year after I had moved. And I remember, like, I had just got cable, just got, a TV, got my own room and stuff. So I'm kind of just, it was pretty much like a party in my room some nights. I just stay up whole night watching TV, playing video games, like literally just living it up, right? So anyways, it was right after WrestleMania 23, and it was Backlash, but I think it was either Monday night. I think it was SmackDown, because I remember Batista and Undertaker, they were signed to SmackDown. So I think it was SmackDown. It was a Friday night, because yeah, usually I'm not like up on Friday nights. Or no, not Friday nights, any other night and stuff. It was Friday nights, yeah, I'm staying up, watching TV, flipping through the channels and stuff. And that's what I always would do. I just flip through the channels, find something that just looked entertaining, and just keep doing that over and over. I honestly, back when I was a kid, I could sit down and flip through the channels the whole night, all right? Find absolutely nothing to watch, but just flipping through the channels the whole night. So, one night, all right, SmackDown night, so of course, it's Friday. and they're showing Batista and Undertaker fighting on the stage. So they were showing a like it was like a not a flashback, but it was like a preview of what had happened on the previous pay-per-view, which was Backlash. So usually like at that time it was like WrestleMania, then it was Backlash, and then it was some other pay-per-views, and then it was SummerSlam, then it led right back to, or then it led to the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania again, No Way Out, WrestleMania. So anyways, so they're showing, Batista and Undertaker going at it. And then all of a sudden, Batista spears, well, in wrestling, in actual terminology, he tackled him, but in wrestling terminology, bro has speared Undertaker off the stage. The stage collapsed, explosions had went off, and I'm thinking to myself, like, how is this illegal, or how is this legal? How is this shown on TV? How are they alive? Like, what? Then they're wrestling the same night. I think it was a steel cage match, or it was like it was either that night or a different night. But I remember they did like this steel cage match, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this show? What am I watching right now? But I know it's on at this time on this day, so I'm watching it, all right? And then, yeah, was just sitting down left and right, watching wrestling. And then I remember when Vince McMahon, he pulled this stunt. Had me running around the house going crazy, but he pulled this stunt, right? Vince McMahon is the creator of WWE. Well, maybe not the creator. I think it was his dad that created WWE. Regardless, okay, he was one of the founders of WWE. I'm gonna just say that. But Vince McMahon gets into a limousine, right? Out of nowhere, this limousine explodes, blows up. Now, Kid Me is watching this, right? Kid Me just turned to the channel and he just saw this, right? I immediately go up to my parents' rooms because I told them, like, they knew that by that point I was watching wrestling and all that stuff. They seen me. I'll be downstairs having me something to eat, just watching it and things. So I ran up to their room and I was like, hey, yo, Vince McMahon just blew up. They're talking, what do you mean he just blew? He blew up. He got into a limousine. The limousine blew up. He's gone. The man just died. He's gone. And then they're waiting on for it to be announced on the news and stuff. I'm sitting there just confused and just like, what did I just witness and stuff, just for it to be fictional. And then so that's actually what had happened to where he came back. So I think he came back sometime after that. But no, he actually had it was in some like wrestling. It wasn't a special. It was just, I think it was just a regular episode. But it was right after the unfortunate events of a wrestler named Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, I'ma just say he was a troubled wrestler. You know, he went through some mental illnesses. And he did some unthinkable, unimaginable stuff. Killed himself and his family. And it was one of those things where it was like, what just happened? And so I remember when they had did this thing where it was kind of just, showing love to him and stuff. Because at that time, it hadn't been discovered that he had killed himself and his family. So I remember they were doing like this like special event showing his old matches and stuff. And so I think either I had told my parents and then they were like, I think what it was is that I was going to school the next day. So I was waking up and I was getting ready to brush my teeth. And then I think that's when my mom was like, hey, there's a Chris Benoit wrestler that had passed away. So that's when I was like, oh, that was serious, because if it makes it to the news, like, nah, it's a serious thing. So yeah, at that point I was like, oh, wow, like, no, that was real. And then then it it later on came out that he did what he did. So they from that point, for those that are not wrestling fans, so I know people are probably like, well, what happened after that? They banned him from overall, like, yeah, he had passed and stuff, he killed himself, but they like his matches, his name, they don't mention him in any wrestling industry whatsoever. That goes for wrestling industries that he wasn't signed to outside of WWE, like AEW, TNA Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Any wrestling, company out there, his name is not mentioned, all right, at all. So After that, then I slowly, but I wasn't really like watching wrestling full time. Like I might just, watch like an hour, then I had to go to bed. But then eventually I started convincing my parents, I'm like, okay, any other night, yeah, I'm in bed, bedtime, all that stuff, but just wrestling nights. And at that time, it was only Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. I think ECW hadn't came back on just yet, but eventually I was like, hey, yo, ECW, also, it's coming on tonight. So I'm having this conversation with my parents, and I'm like, hey, yo, so like, yeah, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, them the only nights, okay? So it comes on, because at that time, Raw was only coming on for 2 hours, 2 hours and 5. Well, see, here's the thing, what Monday Night Raw was doing, so they claimed that they were only going to be on, from 9 p.m. to 11:05 p.m. There were some nights where they went on far beyond that 11:05 p.m. mark, and I'm thinking to myself, like, bruh, I gotta get ready for bed. Like, there were nights where it would drag on to like 11:30 and stuff, and then I got, my mom, she's like, cause there would be times where I'm just downstairs watching it and stuff, cause it was a bigger TV than versus the TV that I had at the time, so I'll be downstairs watching it, she's, yelling down the stairs like, hey, it's time to get ready for bed. I'm like, nah, it's like wrestling. I'm like, wrestling's still on, I gotta watch my wrestling and stuff. She's like, nah, you gotta get ready for bed, and so I'm sitting, dang, I just realized, wait a second. No, today's Thursday. I don't know why, bro. Wrestling just comes on too much. I don't know why. I thought today was Saturday, and I'm thinking to myself, I just missed wrestling. I was like, nope. I was like, no, it hadn't even came on yet. So I probably would have just abruptly ended this episode and been like, hey, this episode gonna be a little bit short because wrestling getting ready to come on in 2 minutes. Nah, man, I was like, see, because right now, wrestling just comes on way too much, and I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, they just need to just choose a time and a date, because I'll get to that, but I'm like, man, it's just, there's so much wrestling right now. So, but at the time, and yeah, it was just, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. Yeah, so Monday Night Raw was coming on from 9 o'clock to 11:05, but then sometimes they'll drag it on like far beyond that 11:05 moment. So yeah, there was sometimes I was getting little bonus minutes and stuff, but yeah, man, I was like, then they switched it to 3 hours, and I remember back then where it was like 3-hour events, it was big and stuff. Now it's just a regular thing for Monday Night Raw. But no, I was like, bro, I remember when they would do 3-hour events, I'm like, dope, it's coming on at 8 o'clock, I'm gonna watch some more wrestling, I got 3 hours of wrestling tonight, cool, dope, I'm loving it, alright? So anyways, then yeah, eventually they just switched it to where it's just gonna be coming on, just the whole time and stuff, from 8 o'clock to 11:05. So I was like, all right, cool, dope. Then ECW came back, and then I was watching that a little bit. So yeah, it was just, non-stop wrestling. And then on top of that, so what was funny was because at that time I had discovered LimeWire. So yeah, LimeWire, they had it where you can download like old wrestling videos. So I was downloading like WrestleMania 3. I was watching Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. Downloading like other like Batista power or Batista bombs. Kane, a 300-pound Kane, where it was just like a bunch of different wrestling moments, but it was all on LimeWire, and I'm just sitting there downloading that, adding more and more viruses to my computer. And so yeah, it was like, just seeing that, then buying like theme songs, because my favorite theme song was Batista's theme song. I was like, bro, like, nah, man, I wanted to like slap my knees and act like I was shooting off a minigun and stuff, because I was like, nah, bro, Batista, it was his theme song. John Cena, because I was listening to John Cena's themes. I was actually just listening to his music. Like, nah, like Kid Me, he was a John Cena fan too when it came to the music and stuff. What else? Jeff Hardy moments. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, you could not bring me away from wrestling. Actually, a fun fact, I called the WWE headquarters, I think, when I was like 12 years old. I was at a young age. It was either 11 or 12. I called them up and I was like, how old do I have to be a professional wrestler? And now, like, thinking about it, I can hear it in the woman's voice where it's like, she was laughing and stuff, but I was being dead serious. I'm like, no, you guys offer me a contract right now, I'm there. I'm like, forget school, forget everything, I'm there, okay? I'll get my education in WWE, but I'm there, all right? So, but anyways, nah, man, I was like, just as the time progressed on, and then watching my first WrestleMania. So it was that next year, in 2008, I watched my first WrestleMania 24, because by that time I was already invested in WWE and all that, and so my parents knew how invested I was in the WWE, and they knew how much of a fan I was with wrestling. So anyways, my mom ordered WrestleMania 24. It was amazing watching Money in the Bank, I think it was a triple threat match between Randy Orton, John Cena, and Triple H. This is like when the wrestlers that are retiring today, like where they were wrestling full time back then. So yeah, it's crazy to just sit down and think, like, Edge and Undertaker. What are some other matches that were going on? Like, yeah, it was such an insane environment. But man, it was like watching WrestleMania, because I remember I had my parents, I think it was my dad. It was either my mom or my dad, but they bought me WrestleMania 21, the DVD package. So I was watching that, but it wasn't the same. Like when you're watching it live, but like when you're watching it on the DVD, I mean, it was cool because I remember I got the ladder match DVD too. I was watching that. Kane came out with his DVD. John Cena came out. Bro, I'm telling you, it was such a dope time and things, just being such a wrestling fan, because I was like, man, I was so invested in it. I was getting the WWE magazines. I remember I had my room decked out in WWE posters. What else? Like, bro, I'm telling you, you could not bring me away from the WWE. You just could not, okay? And then going to my first wrestling event. So yeah, my dad, he did that. Shout out to my dad. He took me to my first Monday Night Raw. So he took me to the weekly shows, and he took me to my first pay-per-view. So yeah, double shout out to my dad, but anyways, yeah, I was going to Monday Night Raw. Bro, I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. For those that are just now becoming a wrestling fan, the pyros, the explosions, like when a wrestler comes out, like Cody Rhodes, for an example, when he comes out, you're listening to the pyros on TV. You have the control, you have that control of how loud you want that, his pyros to be off of your TV and stuff. When you're at a wrestling event, you don't have no power over how, the pyros and stuff. That stuff is loud, bruh. It is loud. I'm like, bro, man, this is crazy. I was like, this is honestly I covered my ears the whole time while I was at the show. And I was like, I think my dad was laughing, but I was like, I was just watching the match. Then when the matches was happening, then I'll take my pictures. But then as soon as them wrestlers, I'm like, nah, man, I'm covering my ears the whole time. I'm trying to think, maybe now I would be okay with it, but nah, back then, it's like, you literally, and then the heat of it too. Like when Kane, I remember because Kane had came out, it was a Monday night. It was it was October 6th or 8th. And I remember it was a match where Kane came out. And I think it was funny because they kind of warned us and stuff. They was like, so now introducing Kane. And then, yeah, his pyro, I hurry up and covered my ears because I'm like, no, his pyros is pretty much just a bomb going off. Like, there ain't no, warning. It's just boom. And then it's just, you literally have gone deaf. And you're like, what am I listening? I'm like, my dad's looking, he's saying stuff to me. I'm like, bro, I can't hear you right now. I'm like, I can't hear nothing. So, but yeah, it was fun though, going to Monday Night Raw. Then I went to No Way Out. No Way Out was insane. I remember because that was when, it was 2009. Shane, the McMahons was going up against Randy Orton, and that was Randy Orton had snapped at that point. I'm like, how does this man still have a job? He should be getting fired. How is this? He's getting away with kicking his boss across the head, the boss's daughter, the boss's husband, boss's son. I'm like, bro, what? No, did I say the boss's husband? No, I meant the boss's daughter's husband. Okay, there we go. Okay, that sounds a lot better and stuff because yeah, Vince McMahon, he's not married to a man. I'm like, I meant the daughter's husband. I don't know, bro. It was just a crazy time. Okay, it was so much to take in and things, but. Nah, man, it was crazy even watching that. And then just as the years progressed on, it was just, watching more, seeing so many new faces too. And I was like, bruh, it was some years after that, then you had it where the Shield came through, Roman Reigns, he made his main event debut. So NXT, so ECW had ended at some point, and then NXT ended up coming on. But NXT at that time was just kind of like a competition. It was kind of like Tough Enough, but it was I think by that, it wasn't really tough enough. It's kind of like what NXT is today, where it's like these new coming or wrestlers that just got signed, and then they're just kind of wrestling in this like development territory where it's like, okay, they're just kind of testing the waters with different characters and stuff. So anyways, NXT had just came on, and then yeah, you're seeing Daniel Bryan when he very first got signed to WWE. You're seeing like Titus O'Neil. What are some other wrestlers? Oh, then it was like after that team where like season had ended. Then the Nexus had attacked. Were like the main roster, and I'm like, what is going on? How is this allowed? And so yeah, then as the time progressed on, it was like WWE. It became more of like, okay, like I'm a kid watching these guys beat each other up, to like me being an adult now, just simply being entertained by the fact that it's like, hey yo, like I still have that same love for it, but it's just in an adult way where it's like, like I got nothing but respect for those guys. Like back then, I'm like, no, them guys are crazy for doing that. Now I'm like, bruh, nah, I got nothing but the most amount of love. And then, yeah, AEW and stuff. And then just, seeing like other wrestling fans across the world, having it where it's like fans of mine telling me how they're a wrestling fan. And I'm like, it's insane, man. Being a wrestling fan is honestly amazing. Like if you have not watch any form of wrestling, bro, and it's crazy just seeing like some of the people that I didn't think that would be wrestling fans, seeing them even talk about being a wrestling fan. So I'm like, nah, man, being a wrestling fan is dope. It's fun, you make friends in the long run and stuff, Then of course the video games, oh my god, like you could not take me away from the wrestling video games. And so yeah, man, I'm like, now it's kind of iffy, but back then when it was like SmackDown versus Raw, bro, I would throw hands in SmackDown versus Raw. I'll never forget, it was one night I remember with SmackDown. I can't remember which one it was. I beat my best friend and my best friend's little brother, no problem. It got to the point where I was winning so much that I was going up against him originally. And then he faked it, act like he had the headset, act like he was wrestling. And I'm like, you're wrestling a little bit too good. What's going on? How you just developed this skill set and things? Then that's when he told me he had his little brother, which he was a wrestling fan. I don't know if he still watches wrestling, but yeah, he was more into wrestling and things. So yeah, me and him, we were going at it, and then yeah, I was just winning matches left and right. I'm like, look, any other game, you might be able to beat me in that game. Not even might. You probably will beat me in the game. SmackDown versus Raw, I have put hours into this game, okay? Hours from PlayStation 3, PSP, and Xbox. I have put time into this game. It could have been a full-time job on how much time I was putting into that game. You're not seeing me in it, okay? Maybe now, because I feel like I've kind of lost my touch when it comes to wrestling games, but back then, Kid Me and SmackDown vs. Raw, there was nobody seeing me in that game. I guarantee and I promise you that, all right? So anyway, I should, man, I think I might do that. Just start challenging people and stuff in video games, whether it's, that or any other game. But yeah, being a wrestling fan, it's really dope. I definitely recommend, if you guys don't watch wrestling, go watch you some wrestling, all right? So if you need some advice on what wrestling shows to watch, I will tell you what to watch. I will point you in the directions where you need to. I'm like, are you into like the high flying stuff, or do you want to see, some 7 foot tall, 300-pound man, like, power bomb somebody through like 15 tables and things? Not that that's happened. It would be dope, but it's one of those that would be like an anime wrestler, bro. Why hasn't I'm telling you, WWE, they could have did like some anime wrestling. I feel like that would have been sick. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on a podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 50 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, and Kick at TMossBoss. And make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you were purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. And if you are purchasing any energy drinks or sleep drinks from Poggers, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. That will knock 10% off your next purchase. And if you are purchasing any controller accessories from Fatal Grips, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. That will also knock 10% off your next purchase. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.